Hello, everybody. It is Friday, the 28th of January. I want to talk about the term esoteric, and that really this world is esoteric in nature, and getting the correct understanding of this word. Because this is one of those words that conjure up all sorts of things, a bit like occult, well, it's satanic, it's I don't know what, don't go behind that curtain because there be a flaming cherubim that will cut you to pieces if you do. Whereas obviously the meaning is just hidden, occult is hidden. So esoteric is one of those words. The meaning of the word esoteric actually means either taught to and only understood by a small number of people, or intended for. There's another one, intended for and understood by a small number of people. So that is the meaning. Now, as I said, we were kept out of the garden by these flaming cherubims, and esoteric, the word esoteric was one of those things, but we're losing our fear. We are going to look. And then, now that we're starting looking, we're being misdirected as to the meaning, as something outside of us. So esoteric, now, if we talk about esoteric, it's esoteric teachings that are outside of us, or it is societies, where knowledge is given to the few, yes, like the Freemasons. And that's where we're digging now, outside of us, trying to understand the teachings the old teachings, or we're trying to dig into the workings of those societies to find out what it is they're doing. And again, you're looking in the wrong place. It is within you. The knowledge is within you, and esoteric actually pertains to you, to every part and to the world as a whole. So then, if you say esoteric is a knowledge that is only understood by a few, then we are each of us an esoteric knowledge. We are all books in this great library that is humanity. Yeah? And in the first instance, the knowledge that we have came to us through our experiences, so that our knowledge is very unique, and it can most likely only be understood by a few, and that is by those that went through the same experiences, or people that have a very similar life to yours. Obviously then they would have had the same or similar experiences. So then you can give of the light of your knowledge, that which has worked out for you, to be good, to those that it would serve. Again, those are those that are in a similar situation like yourself. So there you are an esoteric knowledge. Now there is knowledge in us which is core knowledge, which is, it pertains to all. That is basically the core that makes us human. Yeah? And definitions of what is what, like all over the world, children are being born in different places, and a tree is a tree, and the sky is the sky, and the sea is the sea. So there seems to be some core interpretations that were given, right, like a dictionary, right from the start. There's also a core understanding of good and evil, a conscience that we are born with. But our knowledge is pretty much, what comes after that, born out of our experience, is pretty much our own. And that is where we become esoteric at that point. So then, and again, this is the understanding within yourself they don't want you to have, because out of that understanding, it shows you the way how to use your knowledge correctly, or how it should be used. And that is what they don't want you to understand, because they are using it incorrectly. So the correct knowledge, the correct way to use your esoteric knowledge is to give it to those that it would serve as light. That, would bring light into their life, improve their lives. And again, to do it correctly, you need to have knowledge, and they need to know what you're saying. It is not beat the knowledge into them, and then say, I am the fullness of the light. I give it to you. You must become the fullness of my light. No. He's a different book. To the extent that it can serve. So those that are closest to us in a similar situation, we can give the most to. That is our group. But as we go out and meet people with different lives in different circumstances, there may be still a part of your knowledge that is light that could give to them. But the more different their lives become, the less your light will serve. But there might be still a small part that can serve. And to that extent you can give to them. And then you create the web. And then you create giving to each other in the correct way. But knowing that you cannot give to all, and you are not here to save the blinking world. One person cannot save the world. That is actually what we've been doing over and over. We're getting our commandments from the top, and that should serve all, and it doesn't. It never does. And then we think, well, we know now it doesn't work with the priests. We know now it doesn't work with the kings. We don't know now it doesn't work with the politicians. So what we do? We go higher. It's God. God will save us. Or we go far out if you are of the alien kind, something from a different dimension. Doesn't matter, we just need something else to give us orders. And then all must do according to those orders. And then there will be peace. And that's not how it works. And it is the system of receiving orders from the top. Yeah, and it is it is that kind of thinking, and a thinking that is creating the problem cannot solve it. So no, we're not just getting higher and higher as to what's giving us orders. But we must understand ourselves as an esoteric book, and that we can only give as far as that which is similar to us. But it will create a web that will in the end span the entire world. Now, why they don't want you to understand that, why they don't want you to take this word esoteric and look within yourself, why they have you directing to searching somewhere in their societies, and of course you can't find it because they're hiding it from you, so you can go down that rabbit hole forever. The reason why they don't want you to understand that is because they have that knowledge of this is how it works. That we're all, as I said, esoteric books of knowledge, and we're giving to each other. They understand that. And also that there's only maybe a part of your book, of your knowledge, that would serve them. They understand that too. But what they're doing is they're going around gathering knowledge. And the internet, again, it's a gold mine of the gods. And they're taking out the knowledge nuggets that will serve them. And out of that, they're building the structures, that would give them power. So, and then we are all enslaved in that structure. Now, if there's only a very small part of our knowledge that, we only gave a couple of bricks to that structure, but we must serve it as a whole, then that won't work. That is why none of us is happy, and, this is not working. Because the structure is not us. I mean, we've all given breaks to building our own prison, but it is not us. So, again, the knowledge is given to serve you, to serve your life. Yeah? And you know the correct knowledge by asking your conscience. Your pure conscience, that what you were born with, not the veils of, knowledge of good and evil because it served this thing or another. That is where we no longer know the knowledge we were born with, but we must go back to that. Just the basic knowledge of good and evil. And then go that path and gather knowledge as to what would serve us, knowing that we cannot give that knowledge to all, but only to those that are, the few that are like us, that are in the same situation, that live in the same ecosystem, that sort of thing. And then the knowledge was given to serve us. We give the knowledge to serve them. To serve them. Not to enslave them. Not to make them according to our knowledge, but what can serve them. So, I came to serve. The knowledge was given to serve, and we must give it in order to serve. They take the knowledge for themselves. Not to serve others, but to serve their one small intention, and then everybody else must serve that. So there's the correct way of looking at the word esoteric. It pertains to you. It pertains to the system by which this world should operate. The correct system, the web. And receiving knowledge and giving knowledge correctly. It should serve, not to rule over, not to make something else like yourself. And in that you are an esoteric book, because there's probably only a few that you can give it to without causing destruction or enslaving them. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.